falling in love again after 50. You're not alone, and you're not crazy. In fact, more and more seniors are finding love in their later years and choosing to remarry. But here's the truth. Remarrying in old age is not the same as getting married in your 20s or 30s. It comes with different challenges, different emotions, and different priorities. Whether you're divorced, widowed, or just starting over, saying "I do" again can be one of the most rewarding choices you ever make. But it's also something that deserves serious reflection. Today we're going to talk about 6 truths every senior must know before remarrying after 50. These are the conversations no one wants to have, but every thriving elder needs to hear. Truth number 1, you're not starting over, you're starting fresh. One of the biggest misconceptions about remarrying in your senior years is that you're starting over. But that's not true. You're not wiping the slate clean. You're beginning from experience, not from scratch. By the time you've reached 50, 60, or even 70, you've already lived through a lot. You've built a life, maybe raised children, experienced loss or heartbreak, and gathered years of elderly wisdom. That means you bring insight, self-awareness, and clarity to the table, qualities that younger couples may not yet have. This is your second chance, but it's not a reset. It's a new chapter, one where you get to apply everything you've learned to a relationship that feels right for who you are now, not who you were back then. Embrace the idea that this time, you're loving with your eyes wide open. Thriving elders know that love after 50 can be deeper, calmer, and more authentic if you let it. Truth number 2, emotional baggage is normal, but you need to unpack it. By the time we reach our 50s, 60s, or 70s, few of us are untouched by emotional wounds. We've lived through loss, disappointment, changes in identity, and in some cases, betrayal. Whether you're entering a new relationship after decades of marriage or dipping your toes back into love after years of solitude, that emotional history doesn't just disappear, it comes with you. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, your past experiences are a form of elderly wisdom. They've taught you how to recognize red flags, appreciate quiet loyalty, and understand the value of forgiveness. But wisdom only serves you when it's acknowledged and shared, not when it's buried under silence. Thriving elders who enter remarriage with self-awareness and emotional transparency are often the ones who create the strongest bonds. Why? Because they don't hide their scars. They lay them on the table and say, "Here's what I've been through. Here's how it shaped me, and here's what I hope to build moving forward." Maybe you still feel guilt over how your last marriage ended. Maybe you fear losing another spouse. Maybe you carry grief that you haven't fully processed. These emotions are real, and they deserve space. When you suppress them, they leak into the relationship in subtle ways: distrust, overcaution, or emotional distance. Before you say "I do" again, create an environment where both of you feel safe enough to speak the truth. Be honest about your fears, your boundaries, your hopes. Let your partner know what you've healed and what you're still working on. Let love be something that embraces your whole story, not just the parts that feel easy. Because senior relationships aren't about perfect people finding each other. They're about two imperfect people choosing to grow together with compassion and clarity. Emotional baggage is only heavy when you carry it alone. But when it's unpacked with care, it becomes a bridge between two people, not a barrier. Truth number 3, family dynamics can complicate things, but communication is key. One of the biggest differences between getting married at 25 and getting married at 65 is this. By the time you're older, you're not just blending two lives, you're blending two entire families. You may have children from a previous marriage, grandchildren, step-grandchildren, in-laws from your first marriage who still feel like family. And your partner likely has their own intricate web of relationships too. All of these connections bring love, but they can also bring tension, especially when a new marriage shifts long-held family dynamics. Senior remarriage often prompts difficult emotions within families. Adult children may feel protective of your first spouse's memory. They may worry about inheritance, living arrangements, or simply the idea of replacing someone they loved. Even if they support your happiness, it can be a big emotional adjustment. This is why honest, respectful communication is more than helpful. It's necessary. You don't need your children's approval to find love in old age, but you do want to build understanding. Sit down and share your heart with them. Let them know that this new chapter doesn't erase the past. It adds to the life you've already lived. Reassure them that there is room for love, for memory, and for something new. Set boundaries where necessary, but also invite open dialogue. Listen to their concerns even if you don't agree. Let them feel heard, so they can eventually hear you too, and be prepared for their process to take time. Acceptance doesn't always come overnight, but in many cases when children see that this relationship brings peace, companionship, and joy in your old age, they begin to soften. They begin to support. You may also need to navigate more practical issues. Estate planning, holiday traditions, shared homes. That's where patience and clarity come in. Don't leave these things unspoken. Thriving elders address the details, so everyone involved knows what to expect. And finally, remember that your happiness is valid. You have the right to love again. You've earned the right to create a future that feels right to you. So speak with love, but also with conviction. When family sees that you're entering this new chapter with wisdom and care, it becomes easier for them to trust your decision and eventually to embrace it. Truth number 4. Finances matter. Ignore them at your own risk. Let's face it, money conversations aren't romantic, but when it comes to remarrying after 50, they're essential. In your younger years, you may have entered marriage with minimal assets and maximum optimism. But now, in old age, you likely have real financial responsibilities, retirement plans, a home, adult children, maybe even grandchildren. So while love might be the reason you're walking down the aisle, clarity is what will protect that love over time. You've spent decades building your financial life, learning from mistakes, saving, investing, maybe even navigating the loss of a spouse or the financial fallout of a divorce. That experience is valuable. And now you're combining your life with someone who also has a financial past. That makes one thing clear. Blending finances in old age is not simple, but it can be successful if approached with honesty and care. Start with an open conversation. Don't wait until after the wedding to talk about money. Talk about it early and often. Discuss everything from everyday expenses to long-term financial goals. Ask the questions that matter. Will you combine incomes or keep things separate? Are there debts either of you are bringing into the marriage? What will happen to your assets if one of you passes away? How will you handle healthcare costs as you age? These aren't just numbers, they're peace of mind. And they're especially important if either of you have adult children, previous obligations, or established estate plans. This is not about mistrust. It's about elderly wisdom. knowing that love is strongest when it's built on full transparency. It may be wise to consult a financial advisor or an attorney. A prenuptial agreement may sound unromantic, but in many senior marriages, it actually strengthens the relationship by removing uncertainty. It ensures that both partners feel protected and respected. Thriving elders who remarry don't avoid financial conversations. They prioritize them. Because when your financial future is secure, you can enjoy your relationship without fear, tension, or confusion. Love may be priceless, but peace of mind? That's a close second. Truth number 5, intimacy changes, but it doesn't disappear. There's a common myth that intimacy fades with age, that once you reach your senior years, passion quietly slips away. But ask any thriving elder in a second marriage and they'll tell you, intimacy doesn't disappear, it evolves. It's true that physical closeness may look different in old age. The urgency and intensity of youth may give way to something softer, slower, and in many ways deeper. But that shift doesn't make intimacy any less important. It often makes it more meaningful. You see, when you're over 50 or 60, intimacy becomes less about performance and more about connection. It's the way you hold hands while watching TV, the way you laugh together in the kitchen, the comfort of knowing someone's routine and being known in return. And yes, physical affection still matters. Hugs, kisses, a warm hand on your back. These moments aren't just gestures, they're grounding, healing, affirming. For some older adults, medical issues, medications, or hormonal changes can affect traditional sexual intimacy. But that doesn't mean romance is over. It means it's time to redefine what closeness looks like for this stage of life. The most satisfying senior relationships are those where both partners feel emotionally and physically safe to express their needs, without embarrassment or shame. That requires open, honest communication. Talk to your partner about your comfort levels. Share your desires and your fears. Explore new ways to be close that honor your current bodies and deepen your emotional connection. Intimacy in remarriage after 50 can be richer than it was in your younger years, because now it's built on trust, friendship, and the kind of love that sees the whole person. And here's the truth. You are never too old for affection, desire, or romance. You're still human. You still deserve to be touched, held, and cherished. Thriving elders don't measure intimacy by what it used to be. They celebrate what it has become, a reflection of enduring love, built not on youth, but on depth. So don't close the door on this part of your life. Keep it open, gently, intentionally, and with love. You may be surprised at just how alive that part of you still is. Truth number 6. The most important relationship is still the one with yourself. At any age, love is a beautiful thing. But by the time you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, one truth becomes crystal clear. No relationship, no matter how loving, can fill the space that's meant to be held by you. In a second marriage during old age, it's tempting to look at your new partner as a fresh start, a source of comfort, a second chance at happiness. And while that may be true, it's only half the picture. The full picture? It starts with you. Because if you enter a new relationship without nurturing the one you have with yourself, your confidence, your self-worth, your dreams, then you risk becoming dependent on someone else to define your happiness. And thriving elders know that's not love. That's emotional survival. By the time you reach your senior years, you've weathered storms. You may have raised children, built a career, supported others, grieved losses, and made sacrifices you didn't even know you were capable of. Now, at this stage in life, it's time to come home to yourself. Before you say, "I do" again, pause and ask, am I choosing this relationship from a place of strength, or am I afraid of being alone? Do I see this person as a partner, or as someone to fill a void I haven't healed yet? Am I still growing as an individual, or have I paused my journey in hopes that someone else will complete it for me? The strongest senior marriages are not between people who need each other to feel whole. They're between two people who already are whole and choose to walk together anyway. When you continue to honor your own path, your own interests, your own growth, you give your partner the space to do the same. That's what creates lasting connection. Two fully alive individuals supporting one another, not trying to rescue one another. Whether it's through journaling, therapy, spiritual practice, travel, or quiet reflection, do whatever it takes to stay connected to yourself. Because when you know who you are, you'll be far better at choosing a relationship that enhances your life instead of distracting you from it. You are not half of a heart waiting to be completed. You are whole. You are wise. You are wonderfully complex. And you deserve a love that sees all of that and stands beside it, not in place of it. Final thoughts. A new chapter in love, wisdom, and wholeness. Remarrying in old age is not about rewriting the past. It's not about replacing anyone or fixing what was broken. It's about moving forward, fully aware of who you are, and choosing love again, on your own terms. It takes courage to open your heart after loss, after disappointment, after decades of living life a certain way. But love in your senior years is not naive. It's not impulsive. It's rooted in clarity, calm, and emotional maturity. And that kind of love? It has the power to be even more beautiful than what came before. So don't let age convince you that you've missed your chance. Don't let other people's opinions convince you that you're too old to find love. And don't let fear convince you that happiness is behind you. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to be excited. You are allowed to choose joy, even now, especially now. Take your time. Ask the hard questions. Make the tough decisions. But when you're ready, walk into this next chapter with your heart open and your mind clear. Because you're not just older, you're more you than you've ever been. And this time around, love gets to meet the real you. So if you're standing on the edge of remarriage, wondering if it's the right step, know this. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need a true heart. Because the version of love you've earned in your senior years, that's the kind worth saying I do to. If this message spoke to you, be sure to subscribe for more bold, honest, and heartfelt content made for thriving elders, wise women, and anyone building a beautiful life after 50.